One special bonus feature with this figure right here is that if you choose to cast off this figure, yeah, you're getting a Hadaka version of John Cena. So this might be worth considering. Hi and welcome back to the channel, Steven, with your weekly figure news fix for this week, 19th to 24th of February 2024. We don't have many genuine figures on pre-order this week. In fact, there is not a single new figure on pre-order on Friday the 23rd, which is very unusual. At least by evening of Friday, I checked HLJ and Ami, nothing new at all, right? Very unusual because most figure brands, they love putting new stuff on pre-order on Fridays. And then, yeah, moving on to the third parties, it has happened again, art theft. There is like almost at least one case every week nowadays. It is really sad, but we'll get to that in a moment in the third party section later on. Alright, now we are in HLJ and I have selected the figures I want to cover. I don't think I'm covering that Sonic that hit the Hedgehog statue over there that goes for 86,000 yet. Alright. As usual, we begin with 1x4 skills. The first one over here, Chloe von Einsburn from Fate Khalid liner, Prisma Ilya. This is Barrel Bunny version, which in a way, indirectly, this is a re-release going for 27,000 yen coming out this September, which is pretty fast, right? Yeah, Chloe is possibly her English name, right? Like, you know, when they localize stuff, they change the names on some characters. Yeah, it happens because Japanese name is literally Kugo or literally black, right? Just because of her skin color. It is a long-running joke in the anime community, by the way. Alright, while I normally prefer bunny figures with stockings, I think Chloe looks pretty good without stockings, right? So in this specific case over here, I don't think it is a bad thing for the stockings to be missing. In the end, I think this is more of a case-by-case basis. 27k is pretty cheap for 1x4 skill, so if you're looking to pick one up, go for it, right? Moving on to the next one, this is actually the top seller in Ami this week, and I certainly did not expect Nagatoro-san to be so popular. Yeah, I know, there are not many normal scale figures of her. I think Belfine did a 1x8 or 1x7 scale of her in school uniform, where you can remove the uniform and then there is a school swimsuit underneath. That one got a re-release, right? This one right here, yes, I like it a lot. I love the pose, like she is obviously teasing the main character. Some of you may see her as a bully, right? Like, yeah, she is kind of a bully in a way, but hey, the anime was entertaining AF. I would love to have the figure over here. It is quite a shame that she did not get more figures, but seeing how popular the 1x4 scale is, even on my Facebook page, yeah, I think this is one of those few seasonal anime waifus which flew under the radar for most figure companies. 30,000 yen only for 1x4 scale. And coming out this July, that is very fast. Free-ink, please don't mess up the paintwork. Like, free-ink releases, who knows, 3 to 5 or even half a dozen 1x4 scales occasionally in one single month. I really do fear for their quality control because they are pushing out so much stuff each month. Moving on to the next 1x4 scale. Oh, here we go again. Those Japanese doll Yoshitoku doll figures by Furyu, which are extremely expensive. This Oshino Shinobu over here is going for 170,000 yen, which is not yet their most expensive figure. I think Furyu's most expensive 1x4 is over 200k, right? Fellow YouTuber Kohai's collection, yeah, they made a video on this topic. They bought an actual Japanese doll, you know, with this fabric cloth, and then they compared it with this Furyu 1x4 scale figures, and yeah, they did not they did not hold back on their criticism on how this series of figures are very overpriced. That video is quite popular. I think it is around 10,000 views, at least 10,000 views by now, and I am inclined to agree with them actually. It is not like I don't respect craftsmanship or handmade stuff. I respect those kind of things a lot. I believe they are very underappreciated even. Anything related to art is very underappreciated nowadays because everyone wants to be a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, and so on, which are science stuff, you know, science, and I mean, yeah, you get the point over there. However, to me, these are series of figures. I do think whatever outfit they made for these figures, I mean, it is not as expensive as we would like to believe. Yeah, I think that is the point I'm trying to make over here. And I certainly could not justify this kind of money for a 1x4 scale figure, even more so by Full Wheel, because from what I heard, they do have QC issues occasionally from the owners themselves. And that low effort black square base over there, that is not something I would expect to see in a figure costing this much. Yeah. Alright, moving on to the next scale figure over here. 1x7 scale Jeanne d'Arc Saints of the Sea from Azur 27,000 yen by Alice Glint, September release. Yeah, Alice Glint stuff, they are not cheap, but at the same time, their figures are quite decent. Their figures have never been cheap, by the way. Yeah, this was the figure I saw in Wonder Festival, unpainted, and I could not recognize the character. And then one of you commented saying that is Jeanne d'Arc from Azur, the one you called a saber face. And yeah, now that I'm looking at these pictures of this figure over here, very nice translucent part over there. Yeah, this is saber face. It feels like I'm looking at Saber Extra Nero Claudia's sister of some kind, right? Very stylish figure. I love it. And she's getting a unique base over there. 27k, is it justifiable to you? I'll let you answer that question. To me, I would say it is alright. I wish that this is maybe 15%, 20% cheaper, but yeah, very nice looking figure for Azur collectors. Also, this is just the normal version, 27,000 yen, and Ami is selling the limited edition over here where the face plate is different, right? For only an additional 220 yen because there is a discount. Otherwise, this would be 30k. So for this one specific figure over here, I would say getting it from Ami is the better choice. Yeah, normally I go for HLJ myself because they don't charge that 10% goods and sales tax. Unlike Ami, which imposes that 10% tax on their international customers, HLJ does not do that. But in this case, after discount, this is cheaper. So I would advise you to get it from Ami for this specific figure. Like, don't stay loyal to one single figure store. You need to be jumping around, hopping around, and see where you get the best deals, right? Okay, moving on to the next scale figure over here. 1x7 Kyoko Otonashi with Soichiro from Mason Ikoku, which I know nothing about, right? Is this an anime or what? Should be an anime, right? An old school anime. I know nothing at all. So this one is by Proof, 23,000 yen, October release. 23k, is it expensive? It does feel pricey to me. For one, I feel like I'm looking at a slightly more premium pop-up rate figure, if I have to be frank with you guys over here. Very simple figure, not a very detailed figure, right? This is, oh god. No, my internet connection really sucks nowadays. It is bad. Pictures are not loading at all. Back to the figure. Alright, if we look at this figure, closer up picture over here, this is not a very detailed figure to be expected because this is like old school anime art style. They are not very detailed to begin with. And even with this dog and the kennel included over here, yeah, I don't think 23k is cheap at all. It is quite pricey. I mean, good looking figure for sure, but on the pricey side, this would be best at 20,000 yen maybe. But every single figure Proof has put on pre-order so far in the past few months, every single one of them are on the expensive side. So I wouldn't say I am too surprised over here. I do like the base a lot though. Yeah, not the kind of stuff I would collect. Moving on to the next one over here, this is perhaps my favorite genuine scale figure this week, coming from Eastream and Shibuya Scramble figure. We have Kurumi Tokisaki Hanfu version. 1x7 scale, but a very eye-watering 35,000 yen, coming out in September. Like, Eastream could get their premium high-end figure out in 6 months. That is impressive indeed. I hope there are no issues, because even if Eastream markets themselves as a very premium figure brand, they are not like completely innocent, you know. I mean, they have figures, really expensive figures with quality control issues involving the paintwork. Yeah, it has happened a few times in the past. So this thing, in 6 months, yeah, coming out in 6 months, I hope they do a good job. It is not easy to impress me with a Kurumi figure nowadays because there are way too many of them, but this one looks very classy. I love it, right? Like the pose and everything. I would just tell anyone to go out and buy Alta's version, like the one in her original red and black dress, you know? But if you want something a bit special, this is worth considering, even though she is pretty expensive. Moving on to the next one. Okay, this one is a bit of... I don't really understand what Good Smile Company is doing over here. What are they thinking? I'm guessing this is more of an experiment. Like they are experimenting with a new concept, a new style of figures, and yeah, they want to see how well it sells before making more figures. So they are starting things off with the Gridman universe, right? So now we have Rika Takarada wall figure, because you can mount this figure on a wall. And this is pretty cheap, 12,700 yen, coming out in January next year. I mean, if you look at the bigger picture over here, this is a very simple figure, just Rika in her what looks like gym uniform to me, right? Gym uniform. This is mostly a gimmick for sure. I think having 2 or 3 such figures in your collection, like you have some figures hanging from the wall, would be very nice. But imagine buying 10 of them, 20 of them. Like, why would you do that? Like, why would I want to hang 20 figures on a wall and risk knocking them over? Maybe the swing and the figure are attached to each other with a peg or even a magnet. Maybe. But I wouldn't want to have 10 of these hanging off my walls because I might knock them off, right? Yeah, so I think they are starting things off with Gridman characters. I believe Shinjo Akane might be the next one after Rika over here. But to me, this feels more like a gimmick. Surely enough, this is partially functional in a way where we are having an actual shelf on top, as you can see over there, but the shelf is so tiny, you can put only one single potted plant or one single scale figure on top. And yeah, to make a proper shelf, a long shelf, you'll need to buy several of these figures. And you know, this figure is coming out next year. So you'll take a year's worth of collecting wall figures just to make a long shelf that is actually practical. Yeah, I don't get the points over here. Please give me your opinions on this one. To me, it feels very gimmicky and not very practical. Yeah. Moving on to the next one. Okay, that is all for genuine scale figures on HLJ this week. Very few. The next one. Moving forward, we are going into low-cost figure territory, and this is a must-have, right? This is a must pre-order in my opinion. Pop-Up Red Shishiro Botan from Hololive by Max Factory. That's the best part. Max Factory, it is not Good Smile because this is a relatively detailed figure. In the Pop-Up Red series, I mean those white color stripes, they are not easy to paint. Paint bleeding will happen if they are not careful. Yeah. So I'm happy to see Max Factory being in charge of this one. In fact, I would say I'm a bit disappointed with this figure for the fact that this is a pop-up crate, not a proper scale figure. I would prefer this to be a scale figure. Like, this could have been a lot more detailed, right? For those of you interested, pre-order this early, right? I normally don't tell you guys to pre-order pop-up rates, but for this figure, this character, it is an exception. Pre-order it before you regret it. Yeah. Moving on to the next one, we have Sakura Kinomoto from Cardcaptor Sakura's Cloud Cut. Is that a new series or spin-off? Let me know. I don't watch Cardcaptor Sakura. This is under 4,000 yen September release. Yeah, this one, sure. Wait until after release. I don't see the need to pre-order Cardcaptor Sakura, you know? Oh, so the other girl is not yet on pre-order. Maybe next week, I suppose, right? Okay. Moving on to the next one over here. Ruby from Oshinoko, under 4,000 yen. I don't see the need to pre-order early either. And of course, the brother and the husband and the boyfriend, Aqua or Aquamarine, under 4,000 yen as well. Okay, so here's the tricky part because I don't see any possibility of this teenager form of Aqua getting an expensive scale figure at all. Who would buy it? Very few people would. So if you want like the complete set of the entire cast of the anime, I think Pop-Up Red is the best way to go. Maybe Full View might make Tenitol series for this set of characters as well. let's say you collect skill figures, you buy Kana, you buy Akane, and so on, you buy Ruby as well, but then, yeah, Aqua is missing from the set. You only get the female characters. So it really depends on whether you want a complete set of the cast, including the male characters. If you only buy female characters like I do, then sure, just stick to skill figures, right? Alright, moving on to the next one. Okay, this is a bit interesting, but I think it makes sense, right? Yoichi Isagi by Tenitol and Furyu, 6,200 yen from Blue Lock, obviously, that football anime, which I did not watch because, yeah, I'm normally not a fan of sports anime. The only exception was Haikyuu. I finished all 4 seasons. That was brilliant. The anime was really nice. Okay, and then the next one here, Meguru Bachira, same price also from Tenitol. So yeah, I think Furyu over here, I'm beginning to see what they are trying to do, because they do scale figures 20,000+ yen, and then they offer a cheaper alternative, which is brilliant. It is a brilliant strategy. Like, you are targeting both ends of the spectrum, the lower cost market and the premium market. Yeah, that is something Good Smile has been doing for a long time, and I see that Furyu is copying Good Smile's business strategy in a way. Yeah, I think Solaris Japan, on their YouTube channel, they made this video on how Furyu is copying everyone, apostrophe copying. I don't necessarily agree with everything they say, but I mean, from a business strategy standpoint, I can see some similarities going on with Good Smile, right? Overall, I will tell you guys to buy Tenitol over Pop-Up Raid any day. Yeah, I may not be happy with Furyu's skill figures. Their QC can be really patchy, really inconsistent, but their Tenitol figures are not bad at all. Especially when you consider the fact that these two have a relatively interesting pose in a way. Yeah, I love the pose on these two figures. Right, moving on to the next one, back to skill figures, but we're looking at male characters over here. The first one would be Kotobukiya at FXJ. I just mentioned Haikyuu minutes ago. There we go, Tetsuro Kugo. 17,000 yen only, coming out in September. Yeah, sure. For Haikyuu collectors, I would say this is a must-have. I loved the anime, but not to the level of collecting their figures, right? I'm actually starting to question why Kotobukiya is putting every single one of them on a tree branch. Sure, if it was the main characters team, where they call themselves the Ravens or something like that, I would see the logic, but this is not from the main characters team, right? This is one of the rivals. Okay, and moving on to the next one as well, Kenma Kozume. Yeah, 16,340 yen on a tree branch as well. I don't think there are any other scale figures of Kenma other than a Tenitol by Furyu. Yeah. Must have for Haikyuu collectors. Moving on to the next one, a third art FXJ figure. We have Sugugu Ghetto Hidden Inventory Premature Death version. Is this JJK? Jujutsu Kaisen? I think it is, right? The character design is really like JJK style. This is the problem with figures of male characters that are mostly in black outfits. Like, there is nothing going on. Details are lacking, especially in the paintwork department, right? 16,000 yen only for sure, but I'm not impressed with this one at all. And the last skill figure on HLJ over here, okay, by Proof, wow, 56,000 yen, but 2 figures, so that would make it, how much is that per figure? 28,000 yen per figure, which is still very expensive. Like, Proof, their stuff is pricey, like I said earlier. From Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, we have Roy Mustang and Mace Hughes. Alright, December release, 56k. Yep, too expensive to me. Yeah, charging extra probably because of that fire effect parts over there, but that part doesn't cost much to make, man. Yeah, now I recall seeing this figure in Wonder Festival as well. Was it painted or not? I can't remember, but I can't say I like the face of this guy over here. The other one, Hughes, looks a lot better. Yeah. 56,000 yen is too expensive, man. Too pricey. Of course, this is a very simple case of ripping off people who are rich working adults nowadays, because FMA is so old, right? I think, was it? Yeah, year 2000s. So the fans of this series, they are rich working adults by now. Maybe in their 30s, in their 40s. So yeah, let's just rip them off, make them pay up. Can say the same for the hype going on around Gundam Seed recently, right? Fans of Gundam Seed, which was from early 2000s to mid 2000s, they are now also rich working adults. So let's push out all this premium Bandai, premium P Bandai stuff and make them pay up. Okay, now we shall move on to Ami for two exclusive items over here. The first one, earlier we have Gen Dia Azalane. The exclusive version is only on Ami with a different faceplate. Here, the second one, we have Kyoka Uzen Laundry Style from Mato Seihei Slave. 23,000 yen almost by Pony Canyon. It is quite a shame that we don't have a figure of Kyoka Uzen in her military uniform yet, and Katana of course, right? And even better if she is riding on the guy in her transformed form. I mean, that combination for 40 plus thousand yen at 1/7 would be amazing. But yeah, so far we are only getting fan service figures of this character over here, which is a bit of a shame. Yeah, 23k 1/7, somewhat okay, right? This is coming from Pony Canyon. I think the license holders themselves. It is not like they made the figures on their own, right? They outsource it. Definitely. I think Kadokawa does the same. And the second Ami exclusive over here from BNHA, we have Tsuyu Asui Hero Suit version second player color, right? Different color. Yeah, that is why this figure felt very familiar to me. And she looks like a frog over here, man. Okay, this is by Takara Tomy. I don't think Takara Tomy is the one behind this figure. I'm guessing either Kotobukiya or Belfine made it, and then Takara Tomy is the license holder. Let me see if there are any additional information below. No, they only mentioned Takara Tomy over here, but I'm not really that convinced that they are the one who made the figure. I'm guessing Belfine or Kotobukiya even. Belfine is more likely. Anyways, this is under 15,000 yen, so if you are a big BNHA fan, this is really cheap, might be worth considering. Alright, now before we move on to third parties, a quick stop at niningame.com. As usual, check out those insights and B-full figures on your own. I'm not putting them on screen, and we have two figures on Ninin Game this week. The first one here, this is actually one of my favorite scale figures on the genuine side this week as well. Not yet on pre-order, but I believe she will pre-order open within this week. Okay, character selection, binding, original character Celica 1/4 scale Bunny version by binding and native 45,000 yen. Yeah, this is probably like 40 or 42,000 yen. There is a 3,000 yen premium because it is exclusive on and Ninin Game has to source it, right? I love this figure simply for the face expression like that. The love shape on the iris of the eye, and overall the pose, I love the pose and the face expression, right? As for the pose of this figure, yeah, this is your typical Asian squatting toilet pose, right? But it is quite attractive in a way for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah, go for it. If you like this figure, I certainly do like it a lot. The second figure on Ninin Game, this is a bit weird, right? This Guns figure, Shimohira Reika 1/7 scale by Q Skill for 20,566 yen. That is a huge price cut, down from 25,000 yen. Coming out in January 2025. Okay, this Reika figure over here, how do I put it? This is not on HLJ. It is also not on Ami, not on any other site as far as I'm aware of. And Ninin Game is collecting pre-orders for it, which is really weird. I suspect that Ninin Game is jumping the gun over here, like they are taking pre-orders early because no business. That is how to sell more products. I wish that HLJ would publish stuff faster, as fast as Ami, but sometimes they're too slow. I mean, getting stuff out early is one way to sell more products, right? Most likely, this figure is going on pre-order officially next week. I mean, this coming week, yeah, this late February week, but Ninin Game is taking pre-order a bit earlier. There was a Guns figure of Reika many years ago. I think it was Union Creative, which was relatively popular. I liked that figure a lot, by the way. This new one by Q Skill, this is not bad. I do like it quite a bit. I mean, if for this price, 20,000 yen plus, I think it's a reasonable buy. 25,000 yen, that would be way too overpriced, right? But QSQ is no stranger to overpricing their figures. And that is all for genuine figures on pre-order this week. Now we move on to third-party resin figures making use of OzGK. For many of the figures I'm about to cover, there are affiliate pre-order links down in the descriptions below. Make use of them if you're interested in any of the figures I'm about to cover. Personally, for this week, there are nothing that interests me too much, right? Even though there are some Honkai stuff and also Genshin figures. Okay, the first one over here, this is the main highlights of this week for all the wrong reasons. I am going to tell you to not buy this thing. I'm not including any affiliate links in the description below because I do not support art theft, right? This is stolen artwork, confirmed at this point, and the sculptor themselves contacted me on Facebook. So this model was stolen from our studio Balkamancer Sculpts and was originally released on our Patreon as a 3D printable model. FZ Studio has no rights to turn it into a GK and sell it. I kindly request the removal of this post, which I did remove any links to that figure, right? So right up here, as you can see, I just changed it to one single sentence: pre-order link removed for stolen art. Yes, I only removed the link. I did not remove the post because I want people to read this comment by Balkamancer Sculpts. I think it is a way of spreading awareness. Like, you see this name FZ Studio, stay away from them. Or think twice, think thrice, and double check things before you pre-order anything from them, right? Though at the same time, these studios, right, those that do shady stuff, they'll just keep changing their names. Like today, they call themselves FZ Studio. Tomorrow, they'll call themselves 69 Studios. Yeah, they just keep changing their names. Aside from all those more established third-party resin figure brands, when you come across studios where their name seems to be completely random, like very low-effort naming, AB Studio, FZ Studio, ACG, like very random naming, I think it is wiser to be extra careful and maybe double check before pre-ordering anything. Not to say they will make bad figures, but you might end up accidentally buying something that is stolen, right? So yeah, my response over there, this is the problem with third parties, and we have a few that actually designs their own characters, and there are those that still I'm completely dependent on the community to inform me on such incidences because it is impossible to keep track of everything. So yeah, keep interacting with me, keep commenting if you discover anything, and I will respond to any stolen stuff, right? Honestly, there are a lot of talented and skilled people out there, right? They are designing their own characters, doing a great job, and their third-party original design figures are amazing. They are very well made. They have the skills. Why resort to stealing? I don't get it. Like, make your own original characters, do your own original designs, and if you really are that good, people will eventually recognize it and buy from you. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next figure over here from Ocelot Studio, we have Sparkle from Honkai Star Rail. There are two Sparkle figures this week. The second one is a cultured one. We'll see it at the end of today's video. Okay, this is 239 for the regular version, high-end version, which obviously you're getting a Hadaka option for 279. So the small price difference over there, I mean, as long as you don't mind having to keep extra parts for your figures, then maybe go for the premium version, the high-end version. But if you do not like to have so many leftover parts sitting around, you know, some people don't like that, then the normal version is more than good enough. I personally don't see a point in like buying deluxe version for every single resin figure. I'm not sure if I like this faceplate though. The default one is a lot nicer. Yeah, this is more than good enough. She looks great, man. I think this is a good buy if you love Sparkle. Moving on to the next one from CR Studio, we have cute version of Yae Miko from Genshin Impact, $98. Yes, go for it if you like her. I mean, I have seen actual product pictures of this brand, CR Studio. Their chibi figures, like this one over here, is amazing, like very nice. Their figures will be shown in my episode 2 of which third-party resin figure is recommended. I published episode 1 a couple of weeks back. Episode 2 is coming in March, right? And CR Studio will be one of them, but I'm telling you guys right now, their stuff are actually decent. This may be a 3D render of some kind. I think it almost looks like a 3D render, I'm not too sure. But having seen their actual product, I say that their stuff are very nice, right? So go for it if you like Yae Miko, which is one of the more popular characters in Genshin Impact. Moving on to the next one from TZT Studio, we have Nami from One Piece. This is $192, right? For me, this Nami, I'm not too sure because there is something not quite right with the face. I think the eye alignment is off once again. Like some figure brands, they... Is it viewing angle problem? Because I mean, we're looking at her from an angle of more than 45 degrees over here. Two face plates. It is possible that we are dealing with a viewing angle problem rather than the face having an actual issue, because this pic over here, I don't know. It looks a bit off to me, right? Okay. This is a pretty tall figure for a 1/6 scale. I believe it is over 30 cm. 36. Yeah. Because of the base, of course. The base is a cheat code. Moving on to the next one from 3YS Studio. We have Original Bloodbath Camp Nurse Bloodbath Princess, whatever that means. Okay, there are two versions, 1/6 and 1/2. Is it? No. Only 1/6, I think. I don't know why OzGK labeled 1/2 scale over here, or maybe there is a bigger one coming later on. This looks terrible, man. Full version $210, uniform version $77, but I don't know, man. This feels like a college student art project to me. Like, oh, this looks a lot better. This looks fancy. Yeah, the thing is I don't like the sculpting on the hair. I think the hair looks terrible. But the rest of the figure, oh, maybe because I'm a fan of female characters with weapons like this. The pricing is reasonable for 1/6 scale and you're getting so many accessories, just that I am not a fan of the hair and the face as well. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next one, we have Jaxdo Studio. Jaxdo, actually a very well-established, very famous studio, by the way. Yamato Human Beast form from One Piece, $240 at 1/7 scale. Let's have a look. Oh, the effect part over here looks amazing. I'm not sure if I like Yamato in her Beast form, but outside of that, yeah, this looks fantastic. Oh, there is another guy down here, I see. Hey, I think y'all One Piece collectors might want to consider this one. This looks fantastic indeed. They are meant to be a set with that other figure. I remember that one. 41 cm overall. See, this is big figure. This is a big figure despite the 1/7 scale because of the effect parts. $240 is very reasonable indeed. Moving on to the next one, we have Toby from Nier Automata by Fang Blue GK Studio, $725, right? That is the highest price. Version A is $725, version B $725 as well. Yeah, this is version B right here. And this is a non-scale but about 73 centimeters tall. So I would say this is like 1/2.5, around that range over there in terms of the scale. And I am not going to scroll through the picture because this is a doll. A doll which you can have fun with it, if you know what I mean over there, right? Yeah, go and check out the figure yourself. Alright, let's move on to the next one. The next one, this is unusual. This is a re-release and I don't see third-party resin figures getting re-released that often. It shows you how popular this figure of Han Juri is from Street Fighter. Yeah, Hyperspace Studio is re-releasing her. This is actually $419 only for version A. Version B is $384, where there are some small differences. And version C is where you get both for $665. And I personally don't see the need to buy both unless you want to display one clothed and one Hadaka, right? Okay, and I believe I covered this figure in episode 1. Yeah, she looks great, man. She looks great. I am a big fan of Jui. In fact, she is one of my most used characters when I played the game Street Fighter back then, especially Street Fighter 4. My favorite part of this figure, I mentioned it before as well, the base. Like, this is ultra detailed and diorama base, but it is not too big at the same time. Yeah, I love the base over here. Moving on to the next figure, this is perhaps one of the most overpriced third-party resin figure this week. From Kuon Studio and Z Production Studio, we have Kakudate Karin from Blue Archive, $437 at 1/6 scale. That is for deluxe version where you get a Hadaka torso, and standard version is $299. Now this at 1/6 scale, even with that rifle down there on the base for $299, I would tell you just to go and buy the one by Max Factory. Yeah, the 30,000 yen Max Factory Kakudate Karin figure in that maid outfit with the huge gun. Just go and buy that one and ignore this one, man. Like, Max Factory's version came out last month, I think, in January. That is an amazing figure. I don't see how a plain bunny figure like this is worth 300 USD, right? It is very generic. It feels like there is nothing special with this one. Unless you're getting something special in the box, like we are not being told in these product pictures over here, something extra, I'm not sure. But I don't see that happening when to get something extra, which is the Hadaka option, you're paying extra $437. So yeah, I would say this is not a good buy at all at this price. Moving on to the next one, we have Boa Hancock from One Piece by C2 Studio. Okay, version A, movie version $161. Swimsuit version $159. Oh, they don't have a product picture yet, only a sketch. I would say movie version is all you need, right? And Supreme version, you get both for $280, which is a small discount compared to buying them one by one separately, but I would say movie version $161 is all you need, right? She looks great. Most Boa Hancock figures looks amazing nowadays. Oh, I see. Supreme version is actually this this movie version plus that serpent over there, right? Yeah, $280. I thought it was together a package deal with the swimsuit version, but it is not. Supreme version is this one right here. Okay, in this case, it is really up to you because this is not the only figure of Boa Hancock that comes with the serpent. I can't imagine you buying every single Boa Hancock figure with that snake behind her, right? Like, it doesn't make much sense. Okay, moving on to the next one from Yao Ming Ming Studio, we have Silver Wolf from Honkai Star Rail, $190. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, does she come with Hadaka parts? I don't think so. I'm not sure. Let's have a look. I don't think this is an edgy figure, but at $190, it would be an amazing value if she came with extra parts, right? This one doesn't look too bad either. The pose is a bit bland for sure, but this is a really nice pair with that Kafka figure that went on pre-order a while ago. Yeah, that Kafka figure over there. And that Kafka figure, I think there are already actual product pictures of her. She looks amazing, man. And she may look very simple in these product pictures, but there is actually like fine fabrics detail. Yeah, fabric detail on her outfit if you see the actual figure. So this is actually a good buy if you like this sort of official tuxedo office wear looking outfit on this pair of characters over here. Moving on to the next one. Oh, what is this, man? Original Poker Kingdom Memories Urta. Original character by Dem Toys for $229. Version A. Action figure, right? Seamless action figure. Dem Toys is actually known for it. I don't think this is action figure at all. Oh, C and D are accessories if you want to buy only the accessories, right? Does that look like original character to you? No. Looks like a very famous actress. What was her name again? I only call her the Black Widow in the Marvel universe, right? Yeah, I think that is her. This is not an original character. No, I'm not buying stuff like this. Moving up to the next one from Honyo Studio, which is very decent. Black Swan from Honkai Star Rail. This one was fairly popular when I posted it. 1x7 scale $190 or 1x4 scale at $349. So Either way, both are good buys. It really depends on the budget at this point. Hunyo figures are decent. Feel rest assured to pick one up if you like her. Very nice indeed. I think this is one of the better third-party resin figures this week. Moving on to the next one, Mikasa again. Like, there are a lot of third-party AOT figures out there. This is from Typical Scene Studio. 229 bucks. Just that they're not doing themselves any favors over here with their product pictures. It is way too dark. Is this CGI render? It looks like one to me. Yeah, CGI render. Yes, it is. Give us actual product pictures, man. The pose is nice. The face expression is... It is great as well, but... I want actual product pictures. Moving on to the next one from Wonderland Studio, we have Detective Conan, Haibara Ai and Miyano Shiho for $210. Okay. Not like we have much choices. If you like Detective Conan, are there any genuine figures in the recent year or two? Can't remember any, right? Oh, Conan, that figure of Conan is really nice, man. Yeah, could be a good buy for fans of Detective Conan. Alright, moving up to the next one over here. Yeah, they call this original Emperor's New Clothes by Chiyo Studio. But I suspect that this is that invisible character in Boku no Hero Academia, only $36. So yeah, I did sold quite a few units of this figure when I published it on my Facebook page. I mean, after all, this is so cheap, but I am curious on how they are how they are letting all these parts stick together like that. It can't be just glue. I don't think glue will be able to hold all the parts together like this. Maybe they're using very powerful magnets. There is a possibility over there. Why I'm saying this is that Boku no Hero Academia character and not an original character, despite that is what Chiyo Studio claimed. We are looking at a case of copyright and licensing issue again. Like Nikkei figures, right? The third-party Nikkei figures, they don't mention the word Nikkei at all. They don't even mention the character's name. They just call it a generic Black Bunny figure, rifle girl, like things like that. So what I'm suspecting over here is that there is a licensing issue. So they called this figure with another name. One special bonus feature with this figure right here is that if you choose to cast off this figure, yeah, you're getting a Hadaka version of John Cena. So this might be worth considering. Moving on to the next one, a second Boa Hancock figure, and this is the last kind of normal figure, the last 8 figures. They are all cultured stuff, right? So this Boa Hancock is by W Studio, $279 at 1/6 scale. I don't know what is up with the frequency of bikini figures being made. Like, there are way too many of them. Personally, I don't like this one as much. I think the first one I covered earlier is a lot nicer. Obviously, this is cast offable. The bikini appears to be fabric material, right? Okay, now we shall move on to some cultured stuff. So, I apologize for the heavy censorship, but I do not want my video to be restricted and then limited. Moving on to the next 8 figures, they're all cultured stuff, so I can't really show much of the pictures, and yeah, we'll just go through them very quickly, right? The first one here, the first 2 figures, they are Genshin Impact stuff, Triple S Hot Studio Ningguang for $174, and even though this is really cheap, at 1/6 scale, I can't recommend it at all because I don't like the face of this Ningguang at all. Not to mention, I think this figure feels a bit too gimmicky, and the body proportions of the figure, that is not Ningguang's proportion at all. Yeah, this is just cultured or degenerate stuff for people who are interested in stuff like this, but no, not my kind of figure at all. The next one over here, we have Yae Miko Bathing from Perfect Mesh Studio, $350 at 1/4. 1/4. So if you can overlook the lack of details on this figure, this is not a detailed figure for very obvious reasons. She is just Hadaka taking a bath. So I'm not too sure if this is worth $350 because, I mean, there are so many amazing Yae Miko figures out there, like way too many of them. They shouldn't be too hard to find, and I would rather spend my money on those ultra detailed figures of her instead of something like this, right? The third figure from Arctic Wolf Studio, we have, Bronya from Honkai Impacted. This one is very popular, only $173. And yeah, I think I received quite a few orders on this one as well. Okay, so they are all via my Facebook page, by the way. So once again, if you like edgy figures, and this is Arctic Wolf Studio we're talking about, their figures are very decent. Yeah, you might want to consider picking this one up. Unlike the two Genshin figures earlier, I think this one, for being an edgy figure, is a lot more tastefully done. The pose, the body proportion, and everything. Yeah, so this is something I can recommend. The next one also from Honkai Star Rail, Jingliu, and I don't know why she is always being tied up like that. I did not play the game, maybe the lore of the character, something like that happened to her. Maybe I did not play the game. There are at least 3 or 4 figure brands making figures of her being in prison, being tied up, something like that. However, ACG Studio has a track record of stealing artwork, so approach this one with caution. If you're interested, maybe double check. The next figure, there we go, the second Sparkle figure I mentioned earlier. I can only show the face on this one, like... yeah, I would love that face expression on any figure, man. I love that face expression. I call it the NTR face. Version A goes for $259, where you're getting a different face expression. Version B is the NTR face, and deluxe version for $350 only, you're getting parts for both versions. So that is up to you. I mean, if you like figures like this, I think I can sort of recommend this one, because this one, at least she looks quite nicely made, including the face sculpt, compared to those two Genshin figures earlier. The next one, okay, from ACY Studio, we have original character Barney Stein Fantasy Mizuki Barney. Is this actually original character? Because she looks a bit like that Bayonetta girl or something, right? I think this is that Bayonetta girl, where they are not using her real name once again because of licensing issues. This one, version A is going for $437. Version B, Hadaka version is going for $437 as well, and version C you get both for $598. Yeah, the choice is all yours, up to you really. I think this is one of those. Can I recommend this one? Yeah, sort of. ACY Studio staff are quite decent, and they make a lot of 1x4 skills. Next figure over here, okay, we have Tifa and Aerith by Fun Nip Studio. This is also fan service stuff, right? And I don't like this pair of Tifa and Aerith figures at all. I don't like it at all. I would say don't even bother looking up for the pictures of these two figures. I don't think you'll like them at all. Like, not attractive. And the last figure for today, I think this is one of the more attractive ones in the way that there are no figures of Kuro Inu at all. Yeah, this H anime Kuro Inu, Celestine Lucross from Wilsong Studio. Just by looking at the face expression of this figure, I would say go for it. I mean, 1x4 scale, 1x4, $349. This is excellent buy, right? There is nothing like this in the figure market. So with the exception of the other, with the two Genshin figures and maybe that Jingliu prison figure, every other cultured figure, I can recommend them. It is all up to you which one to pick up, right? And that is all for Figure News Fix for this week, 19th to 24th of February. Which one will you pre-order? Let me know down in the comments below. For me, I would say nothing attracts me much. Yeah, there are maybe two figures that I kind of like that original Celica figure by Binding earlier, but nothing that makes me want one very badly, right? So until then, if you enjoyed this video today, please give this video a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe to this channel for anime figure content every week. Until then, I'll see you guys again very soon. Goodbye.